A study from Harvard University discovered a shocking truth about likability. The most liked people in social interactions aren't the ones who talk the most about themselves. They're the ones who ask the most questions. But not all questions are created equal. What do you do can kill a conversation. Nice weather, huh? Only gets you a nod. That feeling of running out of things to say, the fear of that awkward silence creeping in, it all stems from one underdeveloped skill: the art of asking smart questions. In the next 12 minutes, I'm going to arm you with 7 types of questions, 7 conversational weapons that will turn you from a passive listener into a master conversationalist, the person everyone wants to open up to. This is the complete guide to asking smart questions. Stay until the end, because the 7th question is the one used by the greatest leaders and therapists. 1. The follow-up question. This is the most basic, but also the most powerful skill. It's the ultimate sign that you are actually listening. I used to be a serial conversation killer. Someone would tell me something interesting like, "I went hiking last weekend," and I would just reply, "Oh, cool," and then pivot to my own story. I missed hundreds of connection opportunities because I didn't know how to dig deeper. Here is the specific, actionable tip for you. Listen for a keyword in their response and ask about that specific keyword. If they say, "Work has been pretty stressful lately," don't let that go. Follow up with, "Stressful in what way?" Why does it work? It's like tossing the conversational ball back to them instead of hoarding it for yourself. It sends a powerful message: "I'm listening. What you said matters. Tell me more." This is the simplest question asking technique to show you care. The contrast: wrong, "Oh," and changing the subject. Right? You just mentioned keyword. That sounds interesting. Can you tell me more about that? 2. The how question. What questions give you facts? How questions give you the story. A friend of mine was showing off a successful marketing campaign he ran by himself. I asked a terrible question: "What were the final results?" He gave me a number and the conversation ended. I asked about the destination instead of asking about the journey. The specific, actionable tip: when someone shares an accomplishment, ask about the process. "That's so impressive. How did you manage to achieve that?" Or, "How do you even start a project that big?" Why does it work? People are proud of their results, but they are passionate about their process. A how question invites them to share their creativity, their perseverance, and the challenges they overcame. You don't just get information, you get a lesson. The contrast: wrong. What do you do for a living? Right. How did you end up choosing that career path? 3. The advice question. This is a psychological hack to make a good impression and make people like you instantly. I used to be intimidated by a senior manager at my company. I thought I shouldn't bother him. But one day I worked up the courage and asked, "I've noticed you're a fantastic negotiator. Do you have one piece of advice for someone like me who's just starting out?" He smiled and spent the next 20 minutes mentoring me. Our relationship changed from that day on. The specific, actionable tip: identify a strength in the other person and ask for their advice on that specific topic. You have such a great sense of style. What's your secret? It's called the Benjamin Franklin effect. When you ask for advice, you're not just getting knowledge, you're implicitly complimenting their expertise, which makes them feel respected and valued. It's like handing them a crown for a moment. The contrast: wrong. Trying to pretend you know everything. Right. Showing humility and a desire to learn from their strengths. 4. The hypothetical question. These questions open up a playground for the imagination and reveal a person's values and dreams. Networking events used to be my nightmare. It was all the same boring questions about jobs and hometowns. But then I learned how to change the game. The specific, actionable tip: introduce a what-if scenario. If you could have dinner with any 3 people, living or dead, who would you choose and why? Or, if money were no object, what would you spend your time doing? Why does it work? It breaks the script of normal conversation. It allows people to escape the limits of reality and reveal who they truly are. You'll discover their passions, their humor, and their core values. The contrast: wrong. Do you have any hobbies? Right. If you could instantly become an expert in one skill, what would it be? If you feel your brain starting to open up with new ideas, hit that like button. It lets me know we're on the right track to turning you into a master communicator. 5. The story question. Everyone has great stories, but most people are terrible at telling them without an invitation. Your question is the invitation. My friend came back from a trip, and I just asked, "Did you have a good time?" "Yeah, it was fun," she said. End of story. I asked for a summary, not a story. The specific actionable tip: use phrases like, "Tell me the story of," or "What happened when," or "What's the best story from?" For example, tell me the story of the best day you had on your trip. Why does it work? It gives the other person permission to be a storyteller. You're not just requesting a data point, you're asking them to play a short film for you, starring them as the main character. This is the best way of eliciting information in fascinating details. The contrast. Wrong. How's that project going? Right. What's the funniest story that's happened so far during that project? 6. The feeling question. Deep connection doesn't live in the facts of an event, it lives in the feeling behind the event. When a friend told me he got a big promotion, my first reaction was to ask about the details. What's the new salary? What are the new responsibilities? I missed the most important part. The specific actionable tip. After someone shares an event, ask about their emotion. That must have felt incredible. What was that moment like for you? Why does it work? Events are the black and white sketch. Feelings are the color that brings the picture to life. By asking about their feelings, you show that you don't just care about what happened, you care about the person it happened to. The contrast. Wrong. Focusing only on facts and figures. Right. That sounds like a really stressful experience. How did you feel once you got through it? 7. The reflection question. This is the highest level of questioning. It doesn't ask about the past, it asks about the lesson from the past. After my team finished a difficult project, we just celebrated and moved on to the next thing. We missed the opportunity to grow. The specific actionable tip. Ask questions that force the other person to look back and extract a lesson. Looking back on that whole process, what's the biggest thing you learned about yourself? Or what's something you know now that you wish you knew when you started? Why does it work? It turns experience into wisdom. It shows that you are a deep thinker who cares about growth, not just results. These are the kinds of questions that lead to life-changing conversations. What's your plan? 7 conversational weapons. The follow-up question, the how question, the advice question, the hypothetical question, the story question, the feeling question, and the reflection question. This is your ultimate toolkit for asking smart questions. My challenge to you, in your next long conversation, don't try to be interesting. Try to be interested and apply just one of these 7 techniques, the follow-up question. Just focus on that. Sometimes you'll ask a question and get a blank stare. It happens. There are no stupid questions, only genuine curiosity. And curiosity is always attractive. The quality of your life depends on the quality of your questions. You now have the formula for asking smart questions and building extraordinary relationships. Comment below. What's the best question anyone has ever asked you, and why did it make such an impression? And if you want to keep sharpening your communication skills, hit subscribe. Next week's video, speak less, influence more. 5 active listening techniques to become the person everyone trusts. Remember, break limits every day.